Getting freakishly strong should be a priority if you want to achieve high-level bodyweight movements such as the planche, front lever, handstand push-up, and one-arm chin-up. It sounds simple, but a lot of people move to the fancy stuff too soon and underestimate the value of just being strong. Get strong, and it makes everything else a whole lot easier. Developing strength over the long term requires specificity and consistency. Think the SAID principle, specific adaptation to imposed demands. Let's get specific. So today I want to share with you a method that I learned when studying Charles Poliquin, which is called the modified Hepburn method. And then I'm also going to discuss how we can apply this to bodyweight training. Doug Hepburn was a Canadian athlete who, despite being born with a club foot and other disabilities, went on to become one of the strongest men of his time. Among other achievements, he won a gold medal at the 1953 World Weightlifting Championships and was the first person to bench 500 pounds, that's 220-ish kilos. In short, he was freakishly strong, and there wasn't the internet back in the 50s, so a lot of these methods were developed over a period of time through trial and error, and this one is certainly inspired by him, as well as some other weightlifting practices. Now, although Doug's method was traditionally used with weightlifting and powerlifting, we can simply take this concept and apply it to bodyweight training by focusing on what, in my opinion, is the bodyweight big five: handstand push-up, one-arm chin-up, planche, front lever, and the dip. Here's how we go about doing it. So I'm going to start with two examples here. The first, we're going to focus on the simplest one, which is bent arm strength. So in this example, we're going to be using the chin-up or the one-arm chin-up, depending on your preference, and the handstand push-up or progressions to it. The first part of this workout is working at that max intensity. We're going to perform 6 to 8 sets of 1 to 2 repetitions. This might be a handstand push-up against the wall and an assisted one-arm chin-up. The intensity of this movement wants to be around 90 to 95% of our absolute max, and we want to use a nice slow lowering phase to really max out this movement. In fact, negatives can work really well here for people who are working towards these more advanced movements. We start with this higher intensity movement because we want to maximally recruit those higher threshold and those fast twitch muscle fibers by working at this high intensity. But we also want to back it up with sufficient volume. Part 2 of this movement involves performing a progression towards this movement at an easier intensity for 3 to 5 sets of 3 to 6 reps. In this instance, the simple example would be something like the pike push-up and the mixed grip chin-up. This allows us to get something called functional hypertrophy, which is a fancy way of saying building muscle mass in a way that's relevant to those high-end skills, but it also helps us to take advantage of the potentiation that we get from doing that higher intensity movement that excites the nervous system and can also make us stronger than at this secondary exercise where we're performing the same pattern but in an easier rep range. The next example is for the straight arm strength movements. They look at the planche and the front lever. We simply apply the exact same method again, picking those higher end movements that we can do for those 1 to 2 reps, followed up by a similar pattern for 3 to 6 reps. So in this example, we might use a planche press negative combined with a front lever pull negative. That works really nicely. We get to overload that pattern. We get to train it at that high intensity. Then for our secondary exercise, that part 2, we can do a half planche press and a half front lever press. This allows us to get more time, more reps in that position, continue to work the same pattern, and take advantage of that potentiation, as we mentioned. Straight arm, bent arm, the same things apply. The key is that we make this hard. And that is basically the way that I would apply this modified Hepburn method to bodyweight training. 2 simple examples there for you to go ahead and use. Obviously, just change this depending on your current ability. If you can't do these movements, swap them out for movements that you can do. You can do this one at any level, but I would say that this workout works better if you're more intermediate in advance. You need a base level of strength, base level of conditioning to really take advantage of being this specific with your strength training. Try it 1 to 2 times per week, at least give it 8 weeks, maybe even longer. And yeah, see how the progress goes. If you do give this a go, I'd love to hear how you got on with it. Let me know in the comment section down below, as well as if you have any questions or want to share your own opinion on what you thought of this particular workout. As always, if you just enjoyed this one, you can hit that thumbs up button and support the channel. Right next to it is that subscribe button if you don't want to miss out on any more future videos. But other than that, I'll catch you in the next one. Have a strong week and peace.